Thank you, Presiding Officer. Island communities need ferries, Presiding Officer. I think you're missing that very point. The MV Glen Rosa ferry, first due over half a decade ago, has been delayed by another 9 months, with costs rising by up to £35 million. Combined with the Glen Sanix, which was launched almost 7 years late, the cost of the two ships is now over £460 million. That's nearly 5 times the original contract price. And the fact that the new vessels don't fit at the preferred port of Ardrossan makes the matter even worse. This in the same week that it was revealed that cancellations due to repairs on the ageing CalMac fleet have risen by a staggering 531%. So much for steadying the ship. Why is John Swinney unable to get a grip of this crisis?
First Minister.
As a consequence of decisions that I have taken, and which I am very happy to be accountable for, we have investment in 2 new vessels, the Glen Rosa and the Glen Sanix. We have 2 additional vessels coming on the Isla route, 2 new vessels coming on the Little Minch route, and we have 7 small vessels coming. And in relation to CalMac sailings, on the last full year of statistics show that there were 170,215 scheduled sailings on the CalMac network. Only 3.4% were cancelled due to technical or other reasons, and the overwhelming majority of cancellations on the route were understandably because of weather-related issues. So I simply say to Mr Sarwar, I am acutely conscious of the challenges on the island ferry network, but the network, despite these issues, performs very strongly for island communities, and the government's investment will help to build that resilience in the years to come.
Anas Sarwar.
The First Minister is basically saying that the island community should be angry with the weather rather than with the Scottish Government. They're angry with the Scottish Government because you have failed them. The SNP's ferry fiasco is damaging lives and livelihoods on the Isle of Arran. For islanders, it means round trips of at least 3 hours for hospital appointments. 3 hours for hospital appointments. It means school trips cancelled for kids at a moment's notice, and it means utter chaos for businesses. Let me give them a few examples. Linda Johnson, the co-founder of Auchrani Resort, told me that businesses are being pushed to breaking point. Bill Calderwood of the Isle of Arran Ferry Committee said the community are at a loss at what more can be said about the continued examples of mismanagement on this project. Sheila Gilmore, Chief Executive of Visit Arran, said, "We are going through an economic and social crisis. Arran is an amazing island with so much to offer if only more people could get there." So why are John Swinney and the SNP repeatedly failing our island communities?
First Minister.
Well, I understand the pressures that exist in Arran and I've met many of the businesses and organisations that Mr Sarwar mentions, but I would point out a number of things in response. First of all, the principal vessel that's responsible for servicing the Arran network, the MV Caledonian Isles, has been required extensive repair, and it's expected to re-enter service on the 9th of June and will be able to operate from the port of Ardrossan, which is its main and home port. In the interim, there have been 2 vessels which have been providing sustainable services from Troon, I accept, different locations from Ardrossan, the MV Glen Sanix and the MV Alfred, which have been delivering, from the information available to me, appropriate and adequate capacity for the Arran routes at all times. And the CalMac have taken judgments to make sure that route could be sustainable. And in relation to Ardrossan, the Cabinet Secretary for Transport has made clear that the Government is engaged in active discussions about acquiring the Ardrossan port in order for us to be able to undertake the improvements and the strengthening of that port which are necessary and which have not taken place to date because it is in private ownership. So the Government is delivering a sustained ferry service to the island of Arran, which is providing adequate capacity, and the Government will continue its investment programme, which of course will be strengthened by the arrival of the Glen Rosa and the other steps I mentioned in relation to Ardrossan.
Anas Sarwar.
Presiding Officer, the fact is the SNP is addicted to wasting people's money. We have a prison that was supposed to cost £100 million, now costing £1 billion and rising. Millions and millions of pounds of public money wasted on legal fees to defend the incompetence of this SNP government, and we are rapidly approaching £500 million of public money on 2 delayed ferries. And today I can reveal over £500 million has been spent fixing the ageing ferry fleet, while over-budget vessels lay unfinished. This is now a £1 billion SNP ferry fiasco, made by the SNP, paid for by working Scots. And isn't it the case that John Swinney and the SNP can't be trusted with the public's money?
First Minister.
Well, the government has, of course, applied the consistent stewardship to the public finances, which has resulted in us balancing the government, delivering balanced budgets for every year of this government's term in office, despite the enormous pressures that exist within the public finances. Mr Sarwar talked about the construction costs on prisons. I wonder if Mr Sarwar has looked at any of the data about the impact of the energy price increases after the invasion of Ukraine on capital costs. It's affecting every single capital project in the whole of the United Kingdom as a consequence of those factors, not to mention the fact that the Berlini project that he cites is a larger and more extensive project than was originally conceived of. Now, in relation to ferry services, as I indicated to Russell Finlay, this government has put investment into the ferry network to do 2 things: to make sure that we can acquire new capacity for in vessels for the years to come, and those vessels will be delivered onto the network, but also to make it more affordable for people in island communities to be able to utilise the ferry services. So what I would say to Mr Sarwar is that this government at all times will invest in our ferry network, we will invest in our island communities, and we will apply the stringent controls to public finances that have seen this government re-elected on several times before, and we intend to do it again in 2026.